What's going on, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and you know I cover a lot of alt tech on here. I'm always promoting and using as many alternatives to YouTube as I can. Now, the harsh reality is, right now, outside of BitChute, it's difficult to get much traffic on anything. But they're all growing with every high-profile ban, with every fellow YouTuber like Six Hexenhammer, who also works hard to promote alternatives. More and more people are trying out new platforms. I mean, BitChute has massive traffic. YouTubers still think it's not worth their time to take 5 minutes to sync their channel to BitChute so people can watch their videos. Library is another one I've talked about. It's renamed, or it's going to be renamed to Odyssey here soon. But the problem is, when you want to compete with YouTube, you are beholden to the App Store. Something like almost 80% of my views happen on mobile devices, which is huge, huge. I mean, I would never have thought that it would be that big, but that's what she said. But because of that, most people are going to need an app. There are very few people that will go through the extra work to use an in-app or like their Chrome browser or their Firefox or whatever it is that they have on their phone, or whatever iPhones have, Safari or something. I don't know, Opera. I don't know. You know, they want an app. And guess who gatekeeps the App Store? You've got Google Android. Google owns YouTube. And then with iTunes, Apple iTunes, they basically are in lockstep. You know, basically between iTunes and Android, they can block anyone they want. If you don't have access to the Play Store, you're not going to compete in any meaningful way. And it's not uncommon for Android and iTunes to bar somebody. I remember that Gab happened to Gab for a while in the beginning because they were refusing to censor certain things because they were ultimately hosted on the Microsoft Azure servers. They wouldn't let them on the App Store. It's a joke. I don't believe they hide behind their terms of service. They hide behind, oh, well, there's this or that we don't like. But the real reason is they don't want competition, at least in my opinion, on their app stores. And that's a huge problem with most of the country either having, 90, I don't know what the real percentage is, but the practical percentage in my head is basically effectively 100% of people who have smartphones, it's either an Android or an iPhone. So you don't get the market if you can't. Now, you can get around it. They can give APKs or whatever. You can download it. Only the most hardcore fans will do that. You need to be on these stores. It's a fantastic gatekeeping tool when you have a monopoly on video sharing. Now, BitChute is growing, and Library is another one that is coming along nicely. Content creators can earn money on Library. They can also earn money on BitChute by posting their own ads or taking pledges or things like that. These platforms are coming along, and I see a lot of the doomers saying, well, it'll never beat YouTube. I know that. When I promote these things, I know some people might think I'm an idiot, but I'd like to think I'm not. I suppose an idiot would think that. I know that Library is never going to be the new YouTube. I know that BitChute is never going to be the new YouTube because of the oligopoly setup in Silicon Valley. Unless the government breaks that up, nothing will be able to compete directly with YouTube. Why? Because the ads on top of everything, that's why these sites use crypto, because the ads that you get on your videos on YouTube are also owned by Google. That's Google AdWords. So to recap, creators go to YouTube. Google owns YouTube. Google owns AdWords. And the money creators get on their videos are advertisers using AdWords, a Google product, to advertise on there. So you can see it's all one system. And I know that Library and BitChute aren't going to defeat YouTube, but you have to define what success looks like. Does that mean you have 10% of the market? Because 10% of the market is still probably $1 billion corporation. 5% of the market, 3% of the market. These are numbers that are sustainable for these sites and provide an audience a lot of the videos I cover have like a larger audience over on these alt tech platforms because I talk about alt tech. But more normie creators really need to take the 5 minutes. The 5 minutes. You guys, if you have a favorite content creator here on YouTube, you need to really be telling them, dude, just can you take the 5 minutes to mirror your content over to BitChute and Odyssey and Brighteon or whatever the case. It takes 5 minutes. And I guarantee you I have subscribers on both of those platforms that never would have found me on YouTube. So the idea that there's no traffic there, it's just a dumping grounds for creators, is absolute bull. And now we had yesterday, Google stifles growing YouTube competitor library by banning it from Play Store for ridiculous reasons. Another alt tech app booted after arbitrary enforcement decision from Google. This is via Reclaim the Net. Google Play has suddenly suspended Library, a decentralized, censorship-resistant YouTube alternative that has been growing rapidly and had over 100,000 app downloads. The app was suspended after Google claimed an image of a comedic scene from a short film. No explicit, there was nothing really like exposed, was in violation of its whatever profanity content. So they banned the entire app. I'm saying like 100,000 downloads on Google alone. I mean, you're talking about this thing's going to have millions of downloads by the end of the year. Library blasted Google for suspending the app. Google does not believe you should be allowed to decide for yourself what you want to read, watch, and hear. They think they should decide for you. The library also noted that the Netflix film, the one we all know I'm talking about, is still available on the Netflix app and on the Google Play Store, while Library has been suspended for showcasing a comedic scene in a single video uploaded by a user. A single video. Library added, there's nothing over the line. For the record, the short film featured in the screenshot, and that Google is just getting scared of us and trying to pull out all the stops. The suspension of Library is the latest example of Google making arbitrary enforcement decisions against all tech apps. These decisions are usually unpredictable and almost impossible to comply with. Free speech social network Gab was subject to similar arbitrary enforcement. Last year, it was banned for failing to remove objectionable or user-generated content, something that was impossible to do due to the decentralized nature of the app. Boy, I really wish that company wasn't run by a complete idiot. They had the best opportunity, and then Parler just came and took it. Like, because their owner couldn't get his ego out of the way, and they've got great apps too. Dissenter is great. I just won't use Gab because their owner is an unstoppable, crazy person. Not only does this mean all tech apps have to worry about unpredictable enforcement, that the app could suddenly wipe out their app's distribution at any given moment, but it also puts these apps at a disadvantage when competing with already dominant big tech apps, because these apps aren't held to the same enforcement standards. For example, the exact image that was cited on the reason for suspending Library's app can still be seen on Google Chrome's browser and on social media apps such as Twitter that even contain full-blown spicy stuff, yet these apps aren't being booted from the Google Play Store, showing the image. While Library expects to get Android app reinstated on Google Play Store, it assumes it will have to make compromise and is encouraging users to check out their F-Droid version of the app, which doesn't allow Google to track you and will always remain unrestricted. Library has enjoyed consistent success and growth since its launch, with many users who are frustrated with YouTube censorship using the platform as an alternative to YouTube, where they can share and consume content without having to worry about being restricted by YouTube. But even when platforms such as Library create alternative platforms that support free speech, Google's vast control of app distribution through the Play Store, which is the main channel on which Android users download apps, allows it to throttle these apps and stamp out competition. Great article by Tom Parker on Reclaim the Net. And Reclaim the Net always has really good stories about, censorship, alt tech stuff. I check the site every day. No, I don't own it. No, they didn't pay me to say that. They don't really seem to rely on a lot of bait. They have a lot of good topics. And Library is, they've got 50,000 followers on Twitter. You've got all sorts of, they retweeted Reclaim the Net. Google banned Library Android from the Play Store without warning for contrived reasons. This video details their exact communications, reasoning, and hypocrisy. I don't think I'll ever be, nobody really ever plans to be exclusive to alt tech. But again, to say that these sites aren't popular is absurd. I do very little promotion of my BitChute page, which has almost 28,000 subscribers. My videos get between 2 and 4 or 5,000 views there. Some of them stink, but some of them stink on YouTube too. And these numbers have been consistently going up as more people know about BitChute and more people use it. BitChute these sites have their problems. The search feature for BitChute stinks. For example, they have their problems. Library has plenty of problems too. But when you use these alt tech platforms, you kind of accept them, warts and all, because you know that it's tough to compete out there. So if you're a content creator or you have a favorite content creator that continues to refuse to support alt tech, just ask them why. It's a good question. I hope you enjoyed this video. Support alt tech, and we'll talk to you again real soon.